All right, good evening everyone. Thank you for attending. My name is Matthew Thompson. I'm the Technical Product Manager at Dental Access, and today I'll be talking about the new Medit Apps and its features. So the topics we're going to be covering today are the Ortho Simulation app, the Smile Design app, the new Crown Fit app, and the Compare app. And these are all very exciting. So anyone that's got the Medit Link software and can access these wonderful new apps that have just become available in the past few weeks. Whether you're a clinic or a lab, you can access these. So if you've got the Medit Link software or you've got a Medit scanner, then you can download these from meditlink.com. So let's start off with Ortho Simulation. What is Ortho Simulation? It's a very clever algorithm. You provide a scan of the patient and the software will automatically segment all the teeth. Once it's segmented these, it will provide you with an example of how they've been segmented, and you can say, yes, I like this, or no, I want to adjust this, and then you move on. Once you've moved on, it will generate a simulation of some movements into what the software suggests as the ideal occlusion. And then you can present this, as you see with this little icon on screen here, or you can manually move the teeth around. So we'll have a look at this in a live demonstration very shortly. Also, there's the Smile Design app. So this is ultimately a photo editing tool. You can align photos with some frames, so you can have the golden ratio for the widths of your teeth, or you can have some horizontal lines, vertical lines, a range of different frames available to help with this photo editing. You can also overlay some libraries of teeth, so whether you'd like some square teeth or rounded teeth or triangular teeth, a different range of libraries are available for this photo editing feature. You can then manually adjust little bits of the tooth shape. So you could say, I just want to curve that slightly more or make it taller, and we'll go through this as well. You can vary the shading also, and ultimately you generate a photo of the new teeth. So if you're in a clinic, you can take a very quick photo of your patient, do a quick photo edit and show them what their teeth could look like, and then you can use this to help with patient acceptance of treatment, or you can provide it to your lab and they can use this as a guide when they're making the new veneers or crowns or any other dentition that they're going to be doing. Next up is the Crown Fit app, and this is a comparison software. We can see in this little picture here, it's got a crown which is 98% or so green with a few red spots that aren't quite perfect. So what that means is we're comparing the STL of our digital crown, our design. Then we take our manufactured crown and we scan that, and then we overlay them and we compare them to see how well your milling machine is performing. Maybe it's milling slightly too much, maybe it's not quite milling enough. So we'll also look at how this Crown Fit app works. And last, we'll look at the Compare tool. This is the one I'm the most excited about because it's got lots of cool features. What we're doing is we're comparing scans before and after. So in this particular picture here, I've got an example of some teeth before and after some preps have been done. You can also do this before or after orthodontic work. You can do a whole lot of measurements. You can do cross sections, point to point, point to line, and we'll see some of those as well. You can move scans, so if you want to rotate them up and down, left and right, and then there's a few more cool features we'll see as well. So let's do our live demo. So I'll just switch over to the Medit Link software on my computer. So for those of you unfamiliar with the software, we'll just take a minute to go through. So up the top left here, we've got our case box. So this is all the cases I have set up. Then we've got our order box, which is all the orders that are cases that have been sent away. So you can see in my case box, I've got some blue circles around some of my cases, and you can see their particular status, whether they're completed, or I've filled out the order form only, or whether the CAD design's been done, so on and so forth. And then you can see these other ones down the bottom here from a while ago that are yellow, and they're ordered. So they've gone from the case box to the ordered box. I've sent them away to a lab to have a crown made or whatever work it is I want done. We've also got this app box here on the left side. So if I click on that, it'll take me to the app box. What this is going to do, it's going to look at all the different apps available and see whether I have them or whether there are the new versions available. So you can see I've got the crown fit by the installed button being gray, whereas I do not have this integration with DTX, which is a partner app. You can see there's a huge number of apps. Some come pre-installed, some you have to download. So if you have Medit Link and you want to get these apps, just simply go to the app box, click install, and follow the prompts. We've also got the settings and general settings down the left here. And one quick tool I'd love to show you is this case converting tool. So over here on the right, we have import. And if you want to import some cases, you can see I've just done some demo cases just earlier today and last week. You can easily navigate and import these cases. So if you want to play around with some of the demo cases for these apps that are available on Medit's website, you can do that. Also, you can export cases as well, whether you want to send them off to a colleague or use them as a demonstration. They're all available to be exported too. Right, so let's get into it. Let's start with the ortho simulation. So I'm going to use this case here called movement proposal. I've called it movement proposal. You can make a new case with any name you wish. I've chosen movement proposal. And we can see here that I've loaded in a scan of an upper, a scan of a lower, and a bite scan we see there in the gray. And I've chosen to have a tall, I've chosen 35 millimeters as the height on my scans. So once this is done, we can see here in this blue box that scan is completed. So that's our status. Now to go into the ortho simulation, we move up just a little bit and we can see there's these 4 buttons that correspond to the symbols of the apps. And because I want to do the ortho simulation, I will click on the ortho simulation. Click that, and it's going to take a moment to load up because it is a separate app from Medit Link. And it's going to start here. And we will start a new project. So the first thing we do is we have to pick our midline. So you can see here there's these 2 green dots with the yellow vertical line. And I take this green dot and move it to what I deem to be the middle line. So I'm happy with the upper now, just looking at it from a few different angles. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go to the right side of screen and I'm going to hide my maxilla. Same with the mandibular. Take my green dot, move it into place. And that looks pretty much on center. We can also clean up the data if we want. So say we had some cheek or some tongue or some other soft tissue in the scan. We want to get rid of that to help the computer see where the teeth are. So if I wanted to trim this off, so for example, I might just reduce the base of this model. Let's go over here to the polyline. I can just go click, 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 click all the way around and then one right click to finish. And it's going to quickly cut off that base for us. So it's just a bit shorter. I click confirm and now I move on to the preparation step. So the computer is working away in the background, preparing the simulation for us. So I'll just quickly show you what's happening in the background here. We can see that the computer is using a huge amount of the power. So when you're doing simulations like this, the faster your computer, the better it is. I've got a pretty good laptop, so as you can see, it only took 5 or 10 seconds. If you've got a brand new 2020 computer with 64 gigs of RAM, it'll fly. So here we have our segmentation work by the computer. We can see it's got all these teeth and it's numbered them with the UNN system. You can of course go in and say I prefer FDI or whichever numbering system you'd like. And we can see it's got all of them apart from this central incisor, number 8 or 1-1 in the FDI notation. So what I want to do, I want to tell the software the bounds of this tooth. Where's the outer edge? Where's the margin? So I'm going to click here on this missing tooth. Click there, and now I have a function where I can just, using my smart tooth selection, I can just click on the tooth and say, there we go. And you can see it's done a pretty decent guess of the outline. I just want to finesse it just a little more. So I'll move down to the next button here, which is the brush selection. And then I can zoom right in and I can just paint on here where the edge of this tooth is. So let's just run down there, and up. And you can see it automatically fills in the gap. So I've just given it this little hint just saying just a touch more there, a touch more there, and that's the edge of my tooth. Say, for example, that I went too much like this. I can always go to the next tool, which is brush deselection. And from there, I can run through and say, actually, no, don't worry about that area there. Don't worry about that area there, and just a touch there, and now I've got my shape. So that looks pretty good to my eye. I will say confirm, and now we have all our teeth marked. In this case, if I wanted to, I could go and mark the distalmost molars, so the 1.6 and the 1.7 in the UNN notation, but because my scan didn't quite cover enough, I'm going to leave them alone for this simulation, and that way it's even. So we're done. Now I say down the bottom right, confirm, and we go off to generating the model. So again, your computer is going to be doing all this work for you. You can see here it's segmenting each individual tooth as they move across screen, which is quite a nice animation. Helps you understand what the computer's doing. And as I said before, the gruntier, the faster the computer, the faster the software will run. So you can see it only takes 10 or 20 seconds just to isolate all the teeth. Once it's isolated all the teeth, it's going to say, here are my teeth. Let's move them into the ideal position, the ideal occlusion, the ideal movements. And then it's going to present us with this setup saying, here we go, here's what the computer thinks is the best setup. Of course, the way this is working, it's taken thousands of scans and done some machine learning and some other clever algorithms in the background to say, right, let's look at all these cases all around the world, let's see what they look like. And here we go, there we got a model, it's been generated. So we can see on the left, there's our wonky teeth, on the right, our nice smooth teeth. And we can see they're in this gypsum color. If you prefer to work in a different color, you can come down to the right here and you can see this rainbow button. So I'll click that there. And we can have this generic pink and white to show us the difference between the soft tissue and the teeth. So that's a pretty good effort. I'm pretty happy with that. It's moved these centrals around, pulled this lateral down a little bit, not much down around the back, but if we want to check, we can go to this button over here on the right side of screen and look at the occlusal view of the maxilla. So here we go, that looks much nicer. Nice arch form around the edge, so we can pair the old one with the new one, and that's much, much better. Maybe just a tiny bit of work to do there on the lateral, otherwise this looks pretty good, and maybe that canine. Let's look at the lower now, and also that looks much better. Tilted this central back in, bit of other work here to smooth it up, that looks pretty good. We can also look at the occlusal surface view to view both at the same time to compare. Or we can look from the left side, so there we go, left side, and of course the right side. So there's a nice little way to, in just a matter of minutes, take a scan, load it into the software, generate an automatic movement, and have it on screen. And this is a way you can present to a patient saying, here, this is what it could look like. So now I've got the automatic simulation. I want to tweak this a little bit. So I'm going to move on to my next chapter here, where I can do my manual movements. So we can see up the top right here, we've got scenario 1. I'm going to make scenario 2, and I'm going to rename this Matt's example. Here we go. So now I'm going to say I want to look at the upper only. So again, click maxilla view and we get that upper only. Then I'm going to zoom in on this tooth here. That's the one I want to move. And because I only want to rotate it around the long axis, I'm going to go down to the bottom of screen, click on this button here, and then I can click it and rotate it, and it only spins in one direction. That makes my life a lot easier. Maybe we can do the same here for this canine. Let's just tilt it a little bit there. Or I can go to the first button, move freely. So I can move this any way you wish. If I look at that view there, we can see it moves. Hold down Control and it tilts. Those of you familiar with Exocad will know this feature here where you can move it freely. Or if I don't like what I've done, I can go undo, 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 and it snaps back into place. So let's go back to my view, and that looks pretty good. We can also move teeth mesally and distally. So maybe I say, oh, let's take this molar and let's shunt it backwards a bit. Let's take this other molar and let's pull it out. So you can see you have total control of how the teeth are placed. And of course, this is just a simulation. So this is great for patient engagement, patient education, helping them understand if I'm going to go down the clear aligner path or the braces path, what's actually happening? What will my teeth look like? This is a fantastic tool for that. We've also got this show high deviation here. So we'll quickly turn this on, and it actually shows us how much these teeth have moved. Next, we'll move to the animation, and I can click play. And this is a really good tool to see how the teeth are moving with time. So it's nice to sort of see the teeth slowly morph, If I zoom in a bit, you'll be able to see these teeth here all moving. You can see around here, these molars and premolars are moving out. So this is a really awesome tool to show people how their teeth are moving. That looks pretty good. So we'll move on to the last step. And we can see here, there's some images I can create. I can say, let's do Matt's example. Let's say confirm. And it's just going to quickly export this as a photo so I can show the patient. So that all works really well. I'm just getting a message here saying it's attaching this image just as I've requested. And we'll move back to here. And we're done. So that's the Ortho Simulation. Next up, let's have a look at Smile Design. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make a new case, and I'm going to say Matt webinar, and I'm going to say register. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in a photo. I'm going to use a photo of myself because I took one earlier this morning preparing for this webinar. So I'm going to open up the case. I'm going to go to the top right here and click the little paperclip. Makes sense because you're attaching something just like a paperclip. And here we go. I have a photo of myself. So we're just going to quickly attach this. I could also attach some STLs, some scans of my teeth maybe, or any other thing I'd like. So we can click here and we can see there's an image and there's an image of me. So now let's go up the top again and click on the Smile Design app. We're going to open this up and we're going to get me some nice pearly whites. So we'll just wait a moment for this app to open. So let's just have a quick think about what my teeth are going to look like. I'm just going to bring this across from my other screen. Just loading this now. Just bear with me a moment. Just preparing the image. Here we go. So you can see the software has automatically picked out the edges of my eyes and the midline through my nose, and it's also picked out a lip line. So that's pretty good. I just want to subtly adjust this. So I'm just going to click on it here, and I want to subtly adjust this. So let's go here to the modify lip line button. I'm just going to pull that in a bit. Add another point by clicking on the dot. Maybe we'll bring that one down, that one in a little bit. Add another one here. So that's a pretty decent lip line. We'll just bring that one up as well. So that looks pretty nice. Maybe there, we're just a touch up also. So now we've modified like my lip line, modified. We can modify this line across my eyes and the center line too if I wish, but I'm pretty happy with that. So let's move on to the consultation mode. So here we see it's preparing a template. Down the bottom of the screen, you can see it's suggested oval teeth for me. I think maybe I'm a bit more square. Well, let's just see. No, triangle's too flat for my liking. Now let's go with the square M. I like that one the most. So let's move in and we're going to have a look at these. So I'm going to say, well, we need to make all of these a bit wider for my centrals. So I'm going to click on one and I'm just going to drag it so it's a bit wider, maybe a tiny bit longer and a little bit taller. I've got pretty big centrals. Now I've done it to one. What I can do, there's a button here and I can click it once and it's going to mirror it automatically to the other tooth. You can see that just needs to go a touch out. That also needs to go a touch out. Pretty good. Now I've double clicked on my tooth and I can see actually I want to just subtly change that there, pull that in just a little bit, maybe pull that one in also, that one in also. And again, double click and I can mirror it. We'll do the same for the laterals. So we'll just lift this up a touch, maybe double click again, bring some of these points in here. I might even just delete some of these points because there's quite a few there. That looks pretty good. Double click again to go back to bulk mode and I'll move it to the other one. Last but not least, go to the canines. Now I've got very big canines. Actually, let's make me look like Dracula just for the sake of being 2 months behind Halloween. There we go. Knock them across. Pretty decent. All right, so there's my template. If I wanted to see some lines, some golden proportions, like I spoke about earlier, on the right side of the screen, we can go to this visibility button, click that there, and you can see there's the golden proportions. I can also move these and say, hold on a minute, I want to make this in the center. So about there, that looks pretty decent actually. Maybe my teeth are a bit wide, but so be it. Let's just scale that in a touch, move it in. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I can turn this on and off as I wish. Then we can whiten my teeth. So you can see I can slide this dial up and down. Maybe I want some whitening as well as some veneers. Let's just, there we go, nice and white for me. And then we can turn on the color as well. So I'm going to turn on the color. Well, maybe that's not quite really my color, is it? Or maybe not that. Maybe that's a bit better. Might just dial down the general whiteness of the lowers. We can change the highlights. We can change the brightness. Maybe a touch more shadow. Or maybe not. Oh, that's all. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So you can see you can change these as you wish to really vary how the patient's going to look. So there's me. Right, let's go next. And let's just do just the consulting picture. And so it's going to go and generate this consulting picture for me. As before, we can see it's Medit links flashing, telling us that it's attaching the photo. And it's just going to quickly make this. This is going to have a photo of me as I am and with my newly generated photo. So let's go and have a look at that quickly. Let's just wait for it to load. There we go, just a few % away from being done. And these are great tools that you can use to work with the patient. If the patient's in the chair right there, you can work on this. If you're a clinician wanting to get into this sort of work, you can do this here and now. It only takes 5 or 10 minutes. So we're just about there with my photo. And we're almost there. Just give it one last moment. And then we'll have the photo of me. We'll just give that a moment, sorry. So you can see it's really easy to quickly generate this. And here we go. Here's our Smile Design preview. Let's open this as well. And I will make this a bit bigger. And you can see there's me as I am and me with some wonderful new teeth. You can send this off to the patient. It's a JPEG. They can get it on email or USB stick or however you wish to transfer it, Dropbox, WeTransfer, etc. But a nice tool to do that. Okay, so that's the Smile Design done. Let's move on to the Crown Fit sample demo. This is one I've got from Medit. They use it for their examples, and it's a really good example. So what we've got here is obviously a patient that's been scanned. I'm just going to quickly hide the occlusion scan because I don't really need to see that. It's in gray. But maybe I want to see the CAD. So you can see there's my nice yellow tooth from the CAD design. I'm just going to turn the colors off so we can see. Maybe I'll turn the CAD off again, and you can see there's the prep. So once we've got the scan loaded of the patient's teeth, we've got the scan of the crown that's been manufactured, and of course the STL of the design, we can use all these to do our crown fit analysis. So once we've got this information loaded, and of course you can use your paperclip to load it in, we can go off to the Crown Fit app. So we'll open that up now. So as I spoke about before, the idea of this is to take a design of a crown you've manufactured, whether it's milling or printing, scan the manufactured crown, and then compare it. So some of you may be familiar with a CMM machine. So in the case of a CMM machine, that's what you will use for manufacturing in a factory or something, if you ever need to do that. So let me just move this down on the other screen, and then I'll bring it across so you can see. So here we go. So we've got our scans. We've got our, so I'm just going to hide that scan, and hide the occlusion. We've got the yellow, which is our design of our crown. So you can see it's called Crown CAD, gives you a hint, and the yellow color, that's our design. And then we've got in the tooth color, our milled crown. So you can see that's a scan that's got a bit of color to it. Maybe to help you see better, we'll turn the color off, and we can have a gray crown for the milled one and the yellow one for the STL. So you can see these have already been aligned, but we'll go through the workflow anyway, so you can see how easy it is. So we'll move to this crown alignment mode step, and here we are. So let's do this alignment. We've got it there. I'm going to say, let's start again. So here we have our yellow is our designed crown and the CAD. Our gray is our milled and scanned crown. To align these, all I have to do is click Align Milled Prosthesis and CAD Data. And bang, in a matter of seconds, oh, not even seconds, half a second, the software has aligned them. And you can see the alignment on the fitting surface is pretty good. Not as good on the occlusal surface, and that's what we're going to compare. So now we've got these aligned. As you saw, it was really easy, just one click. I'll detach them again, and I'll show you another method. I can paint on, so down the bottom here, I can select an area. I can just quickly go on here and say, right, I want to paint on through the fissures, the alignment area there, and this alignment area here, and say tick, and then you can see they snap together again. Oops, I'll just say undo, realign them. I'm pretty happy with that alignment. So you can see it's very easy to align these together. You would have noticed just before that the first alignment was done on the fitting surface, and the second alignment was done deliberately by me, my choice to do it on the occlusal surface. And you can see now that we've done the alignment on the occlusal surface, the fitting surface isn't as good. Whereas if we go back and do the alignment again, now on the fitting surface, when we move through to the crown fitting test mode, we've got this lovely green for the fitting surface. So what is green? Let's look at our color bar on the left side of screen over here. We've got 0.03, so that's 30 microns. Take one of your hairs and it's a third of that. So it's really, really good. We can see there's a small area here where it's not quite perfect, and we can see when I hold the mouse over, it tells me what that value is. So that's inside the fitting surface. So what that's telling me is the milled crown is 0.05, 0.06 bigger than it should be. So it might be just a little bit tight when the crown fits on. So in the clinic, just before you seat the crown, you might have to just subtly adjust that with a handpiece. Also, we've got a little area here where it's just slightly too big. Let's zoom out again and see. I wonder if that matters for fitting. This was a posterior crown, so it doesn't really matter. Whereas this one here, you can see this is going to be the boundary between this tooth and the mesial neighbor. So it could be you want to have that tight gap. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to apply a bit of ceramic, so you might cut that back. So this can tell you what the measurement is and whether you want that, whether you don't. Just to show you what I mean, I'm going to do a quick cross section here, and I'm going to draw a line through there. And then I'm going to hide there, and we can see what I mean by overlap. So we can see here in the gray is the milled tooth, and in the blue is the neighbor. So you can see there's a small area of overlap there. Maybe I want to do a measurement there, and we can show that again. Awesome. So that's the basic idea of the crown fit. Is my milled crown as I expect it to be? Is my milling machine or my printer performing how I want it to? Let's move on to the next step, which is the deviation display. So this here can show us how much the crown is deviating. So we can see here there's a bit in there, as we saw before. On the occlusal surface, there's a bit more deviation, almost up to a 0.1 of a millimeter, which was quite a bit. So it could be in this case that you have to grind just a little bit off the occlusion, or maybe you want it high in occlusion. This all depends on what you want. This just tells you the information. And then lastly, I can go and do my measurement mode. So here, as before, we just saw that I did that cross section. Let's zoom in on this cross section, and I can use this tool down the bottom here, measure distance by 2 points. And from there, I can check how much the overlap is. So 0.1 millimeters, not much, but maybe that's what you want. Or if we zoom in here, look at where the inside of the crown matches the top of the prep. Very small amount, 0.15. Maybe that's too much, maybe that's too little. But at least you can learn this information. So that's the Crown Fit app, very briefly. I think this is quite a nice segue into the last app, which is the Medit Compare, which is a high power version of what we've just seen. So let's look at my last case here called alignment. So I'm going to click on this one here called alignment. And in this case here, I've loaded in 4 scans, 2 uppers, 2 lowers, and they're of the same patient at different times. So let's just quickly look at these one by one. Let's hide these 2 here. So we can see there's an upper, there's a lower, and you can see this particular patient here. Some of you, the astute among you might recognize these teeth from earlier. This particular patient is missing their, what's that, the 2-6 that's been extracted. And so obviously with time, this molar is going to move forward. So let's now hide these. You can see these are from 2018 as I've labeled them. And we'll look at these other 2 here. We can see this one is earlier. The gap, just by my eye, I'm going to place a bet with myself that this is the earlier scan. So this molar will be further back, and you can see this one's based. But the crucial thing here is that they're not aligned correctly. Here are the two lowers, and one is a bit messy. Another one is aligned differently. So let's show how we can use this really powerful tool, Medit Compare, to merge these together, clean them up a bit, and see how much that the 2.7 has moved into the gap where the 2.6 was. So we'll just wait for this to load, and I'm just going to bring that across from the other screen. Here we are. So what we have here is two different color scans that aren't aligned very well. Obviously, it's a bit difficult to work out where they are, but that's all right. The first thing we're going to do is align them. So we go up to the top here to the alignment mode. You'll be familiar with this button now with the 2 points. And we want to say, yes, we want that one and that one. We're going to align these two here. We can say confirm. And now what we're going to do is separate them to begin with. And that way they're separated by some distance. And I'm going to say, right, I want to automatically do it. So I'm just going to say one click, hands away from the mouse. How does the software go at aligning them? Pretty good. Let's move them apart again. Now, let's give it some help. I'm going to say manual alignment. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to say molar, then I'm going to say central and premolar. We do the same points on the other scan. So it was molar, central, and finally premolar. Bang, done. Aligned super quick. How good is that? The third option is to paint on. So just as we had before, I can click on this button down here and I can say, right, I want to paint on a strip through there and a strip through there. Align, please. Done. Wonderful. So let's now move on to the next chapter, deviation display mode. And we can see here, we've got a lovely rainbow of colors showing me how much the teeth differ from one to the other. But this rainbow of colors doesn't really help me. There's too much information going on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to the left side of the screen here, and I'm going to adjust my range. So at the moment, it's 0.1. I'm going to say 0.7. And we can see now the green covers a lot more. And only the areas that have really changed a bit are going to show up as red or blue, depending whether they've moved positively or negatively relative to the original scan. So you can see there's a small bit of wear or something on the edge of these teeth. Maybe that's an artifact from scanning not so well, but we can see again, we've got a little cross here showing the variation. And there we go. There's our big red area showing us how much that this 2.7 has moved relative to the previous scan. So this is a really great tool just to say, aha, there's some movement. You could also, of course, do this with wear. So if the teeth wearing over time, say maybe someone grinds their jaw while they're sleeping, you could see how much they're grinding their jaw. Or orthodontics as well. You could show a patient, this is how you were at the start, this is how you are at the end of the treatment now. So it's a really cool feature, and I'm sure everyone gets this. And this is so easy. Years ago, I've used some industrial engineering software to do the exact same thing, and it takes about 20 clicks in about 3 minutes just to get these aligned. But you can see now, this is just click, click, done. Anyone can do it. It's wonderful. Let's move on now to the roughness measurement mode. So we can see here, if we just look at one of these scans, we can see how rough it is. And again, this is an arbitrary scale. So here I've got 0.1, maybe I want to make it 0.4. And you can see if I set my roughness factor, so if you think of how rough something is, how smooth it is or how rough it is. So I set it to 0.4 and everything's pretty smooth. There's of course a few areas on the incisors and the premolars here where it's quite sharp, obviously. So it's going to be red rather than green. And of course you can change the scale. So this is a really good tool to use when you're making a prep. If we see up here in the top left of the screen, they've actually got a prep as an example. So when you're doing your prep, you want a nice smooth area, not too smooth because the cement won't grab, but not too rough either. So you want the crown to fit down well. So this is a really awesome tool. Maybe you've just done a scan of a patient's prep, you can use this tool here. The next one is the curvature display mode. So this shows us whether something is a positive surface or a negative surface. Obviously the fissures are going to be blue and positive areas are going to be red. And of course, again, you can change the scale factor on this here. So as I move this sliding value up and down, I can look like it's almost fluorescent through to something a bit more delicate as to where obviously these margins here are engraved, so they're going to be blue, whereas everything else is yellow or red because it's either smooth or concave or convex, of course. Next, we'll move on to the transformation mode. I really love this feature because I'm sure everyone here has gotten some scans in the past where they're pointing the wrong way. You just want to bring them back around or pointing up, however it is. So we can take this scan here, go down to the bottom and say translate and rotate. So I'm going to say, right, I want to rotate this forward. So let's try 90 degrees in the Z. Nope, wrong direction. Let's put that back to 0. Let's try 90 degrees in that direction. Nope, put it back to 0. What about 90 degrees in this direction? There we go. So it's very easy just to play around and rotate something. Maybe I want to rotate that just 5 degrees there to bring it around to center, and maybe another 5 degrees there. Or actually, no, let's do minus 10. Oh, no, minus 5. No, 5. There we go. So now it's flat. So you can see I can just manually type in saying rotate this down, bring it around, and get it front on, because maybe my STL was pointing the wrong way. I can also translate it. So maybe you've got something you want to move up. So I'm going to say, right, let's just lift this vertically up. Let's go 10 millimeters, and it moves it up. So maybe you're doing scan bodies, maybe you're doing dentures, and you want to move things around in 3D space. You can load any STL into the software and move it around. So that's pretty cool. Then what we've got next is scale. So maybe you do education with children and you've got an STL of some teeth, but you want to make it bigger and you want to 3D print it. So you can say, right, let's just go into here, let's set it to uniform scaling, and let's make it twice as big. So enter 2, and oh, there you go, it's twice as big. And of course, you can export this, 3D print it. Maybe you want to say, right, how big is a human head compared to a gorilla's head? You could scale them down to be the same size or have them real size. It's a pretty cool feature, being able to just quickly come in here, scale, and not having to worry about using some industrial CAD software to do it. We can also use this button here down the bottom to reverse the data. So maybe you've scanned an impression, you've taken a traditional impression, and maybe it's for dentures, maybe it's for orthodontics, whatever it may be. You want to take that and you want to reverse that impression surface to be a true surface. So load the scan in, one click, done. How easy is that? Next up, we'll go to the measurements. So this is where you can take a million different measurements. So what have we got? We've got our cross section as before. So let's do a quick cross section there. And it's going to quickly calculate. Then I'm going to hide my model by clicking the red dot up here, and we can see, aha, there we go. There's a cross section of that particular tooth. I want to do a measurement. So I'm going to say, right, measure distance by 2 points. What's the distance from that cusp to that cusp? 6.8. What about if I want to do a distance to a plane? So let's say that point there to there to there. And you can see it draws a plane and then draws a distance to it. What if I want to do an angle? Let's say, what's the angle of this particular shape of the tooth here? So I'm going to say there to there to there, 103 degrees. What about, what's the distance along a tooth? So let's say I want to go from there up to there, 6.02 millimeters. So how is that helpful? Let's get rid of that cross section. Let's do another cross section another way. So I'm just going to quickly spin this around. I'm going to do a cross section through this 2.7 here. So let's do a quick cross section through there. Now, some of you may be astute and jumping ahead and thinking, what's he doing? I want to swing the view around, so it's looking exactly there. Maybe you want to measure the bandwidth of the tooth. So you can see that there's that cross section there. You want to measure all the way around. So let's look at that. Let's say, what's the distance from there all the way around to there? Oh, wrong way around. Let's do there to there. It's taken the short way around. Ah, I've jumped ahead. Or maybe, what's the cross-sectional area of this particular tooth? Let's jump in here and say, no, wrong button. Let's jump in here and say, what's the cross-sectional area in there? 93 millimeters. So that might be helpful for a prep, may be helpful for anything. It's a tool that you can use. So you can see there's a huge amount of functionality in here that you can use however you wish. Now the last feature is edit mode. Let's jump in here and let's show this maxillary scan in blue that I had before. It's a bit messy, so I want to clean this scan up. So we can do a few cool things here. I can use my polyline as before. So I can say, right, I just want to get rid of this little bit of soft tissue here. So I'm just going to click, 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 We'll just move down and here, and we can move all the way around, right click to finish and delete, and it's gone. Easy as that. Or maybe I want to use my paintbrushes before. Go here, get my paintbrush, say, right, just get rid of all of that cheek. No help to anyone. Gone. Let's do some more up there. Gone. Let's say, well, given we're missing the 2/6, why don't we get rid of the 1/6? Let's just say here, let's smart tooth there and say gone. I've extracted my 1/6. So you can see the smart tool button here. You click on the surface of the tooth. It can very quickly, in a quarter of a second, figure out the shape and gone. So maybe you want to do that for orthodontics. Maybe you're extracting a tooth before braces. Maybe you want to do it for implant planning. Say, right, I just want to get rid of these teeth so I can overlay this with a cbct. So you can see a really cool feature, load some scans in. Maybe you're a lab and you get some scans from a bunch of different people, all sitting from different brands of scanner. You want to clean them up quickly before 3D printing a model or doing some other restorative work. You can bring them in here, clean them up as you wish, and done. So those are the main features of Medit Compare. We can align scans, we can do some deviation to see how much they've moved. We can, of course, do cross sections and measurements, roughness, we can do curvature, and we can translate, scale, and of course, trim these scans. Really awesome, powerful tool that's free to everyone. Just go to meditlink.com and you can download it. So that comes to the end of it. I'm just going to exit program after saving. So of course, we're going to save this and it's going to make all these changes. And we can see again, we've got Medit Link flashing here, just attaching the models because everything's been saved. It will very shortly align together. So I'm just going to hide these and then we'll be good to go. So that brings us to the end of the webinar and the end of our live demo. I hope you've learned something. I hope you're going to go to meditlink.com and download the software. Please, of course, stay up to date with our newsletters. This is our last webinar for the year. We'll be back shortly. For those of you who need support, we will have someone here during the 29th, 30th, and 31st between Christmas and New Year, and we'll be back full steam from the 4th. So please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for any more updates. Otherwise, everyone have a great break, whether you're off to the beach or wherever you're going. Maybe you're in Switzerland, you're going after the snow to go skiing. Please stay safe, look after each other, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye.